I misspoke. I said I was going to do Happily Ever After the next episode. But before I do that, I want to do 90 Day Fiance the other way. I think this is episode 4. And this one I'm going to jump around a bit because my notes don't make any sense. I don't know what it was on. Was I drinking that night? I don't know. We open with Brittany and Yazan. Brittany's coming off the airplane and Yazan goes to get her. I believe he brings her the flowers that his father told him to bring. And Brittany comes out and starts hugging production, and she also has a bottle of liquor in her bag, as if Yazan did not expressly explain to her what was acceptable in his culture in his country. I could have sworn there was a video conversation that he had with her about converting to Islam, and she was acting a little coy and not giving a firm answer, which should have been a hint to him that she was with the BS anyways. But she completely disregarded, I guess, the things that he was saying to her. And so he overreacts and flips out about her hugging the men in production. Oh, also about the alcohol. Yeah, he didn't like that. I kind of didn't like it either because it's a bad look. You can't just go there, disrespect a man's culture, and act like you didn't know when he told you what was the norm there. It just makes you look like an airhead. At the same time, Yazan is acting like an airhead too, because what makes you think that you could take this girl who wears minimum 33-inch human hair, gorgeous wigs, who drops it low in Miami, and change her into this modest Muslim woman? What were you thinking? That's like when a woman marries a thug dude and tries to change him into a yuppie. He's got to want to change into a yuppie. If he doesn't want to change to a yuppie, he's not going to change to a yuppie. We've seen women try to do this all the time. Where they try, well, maybe that's what Kalani was trying to do with Asuelo. Not saying Asuelo was a thug, but I'm just saying he's not marriage or father material. But I don't know why she thought she was going to be able to shape him into that. People are not clay. You can't shape them into what you want them to be. They come to you as they are. Sometimes people change and develop throughout life, but you can't control whether a person changes or develops or how they change and develop. It just is what it is. Both of them are delusional, like I said in the last video. Let's jump to Deavan and Jihoon. Deavan's traveling back to South Korea, and Jihoon's excited to have the family reunited. Jihoon tells his parents how Deavan's got an apartment there, and they're looking at him like, why did she have to get an apartment all the way from the US? You're here. You should have been getting the apartment. And I have to agree with his parents. Jihoon talks about being a little bit scared of his mother-in-law, and did you see how his father just kind of smiled and laughed? That was like the type of knowing, yes, you're about to go through it. I'm a married man who's had mother-in-law issues, or I don't know whether his father's had issues or not. I'm just thinking, just the way he laughed about it just kind of made you think that maybe he's gone through some issues with his mother-in-law too, and that they're probably past it because it's been so many years or whatever. Then it jumps to Tim, and we get introduced to him in Texas, and his nickname is Cheese Stick, and I think I'm just going to call him Cheese Stick from now on because I like that. He likes to take his cat everywhere with him, even though the cat doesn't seem to look like he wants to go everywhere with him. The cat is cute, although I think most cats are cute. Tim says he hit rock bottom when he was arrested for breaking into multiple cars, and he got, 30 days in jail and 3 years probation. Ain't that about right? Something, white privilege, something, minors of color get charged as adult, yada, 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 get 5 to 10 years for possession of a nickel bat of weed, plus 10 years probation, rinse, repeat, you know the rest, I don't have to go through it. Anyways, he's in love with this girl from Colombia named Melissa. I think they're trying to copy the cult Larissa formula, part 2. I've noticed that 90 Day Fiance at this point are trying to recycle things. Like they tried to use, oh god, what's her name that was with Uzman? I'm drawing a blank, I just remember her hair. Why can't I remember her name? The chick that was with Uzman. Probably I can't remember her name because I used to call her Angela Part 2. Because that's what they were hoping for. They were hoping to get another Angela, but she's not like Angela at all. Lisa. Baby girl Lisa. Why did I not remember her name? Anyways, baby girl Lisa. TLC was hoping they was going to get another Angela with baby girl Lisa, but she just isn't. She doesn't have that thing that Angela has. I don't know what that thing is, but baby girl Lisa doesn't have it. Plus, they really love pairing a Muslim man with a clueless American woman. This goes back to Danielle and Mohammed. It was Danielle and Mohammed, then it was Nicole and Azan. Then I'm not sure. Yeah, Uzman is Muslim as well. So then it was Lisa and Uzman. I'm not sure what Michael's religion is. If they mention it, I missed it. There was, what was the other lady's name? The two from last season. There was 2 50-year-old women from last season that also were trying to marry Muslim men. No, one of them did marry a Muslim man. And she actually got mad because they were putting these beautiful gold jewelry on her, and they had a beautiful wedding, and she just was so unappreciative, and then her son was a snotty little person. And then I think the other one, I think her divorce wasn't final, and she was bisexual and was afraid to tell the guy, but I don't remember either of their names. So I guess they just didn't leave that much of an impact on me. But my point is that TLC likes that pairing a lot because it does bring a lot of drama when you have two people from two different, even though most of the people on the show are coming from two different cultures, but it seems like there's more drama when it is a Middle Eastern Muslim with an American person who has learned nothing about Islam, which is kind of crazy because there's Muslims in America. I was in high school sitting in between a Muslim girl and a Jewish girl, and I mean, I'm trying to figure out, is this a middle America thing? Is this like only certain areas where like they've never met a Muslim person before or a Jewish person before? Like, what kind of bubble do you live in where you just don't meet different types of people or see different types of people? I remember the first time I saw some men that were dressed like, for lack of a better term, like sheiks. How you would see the men they would have the longer white shirts, white pants. They would have the red and white headdress with the headband over it. I'll put the correct term over here. See, I'll put the correct term over here because I'm drawing a blank right now. But I remember seeing some people like that when I was like 10 years old at Disney. So how do you go through life and have never experienced seeing different types of people? It blows my mind. I don't know. Or maybe it's because I grew up in Connecticut. It's just, we're like the North New York. This was somebody in Miami once told me. They were like, aren't you from New York? I said, no, I'm from Connecticut. They were like, it's the same thing. It's North New York. And it's not the same thing, but there is a lot of interaction between people of different cultures there. So I guess it really depends on where you're from in America as to why some of these people are so in this cultural bubble where they've never met or interacted with people from other cultures. Let's see what else happened. Kevin was getting ready to drive to Mexico and he had a very tear-filled goodbye with his family. And I just want to know what his skin regimen is, because not just being, I believe he's 56 years old, but also living in Florida. Have you seen how some of these Floridians look in their 50s, especially the sun worshiping? I mean, leather handbag comes to mind when I'm trying to describe what their skin looks like. Anyways, Kenneth's skin looks great. I just want him to drop a skincare regimen. And when he was packing, did you see there was a box? He had a box of skincare of items. I should have paused it and like tried to take a screenshot of all the skincare products he had in the box because we need to know. Let's jump to Ariella. She's going to Ethiopia to be with Binion and we get to meet him. He has some pretty cool fighting moves for a movie. He should probably try to get some work as a stuntman because he has really good moves for movie fighting. He's also trying to be a rapper, but like 70% of men are trying to be rappers now. It's like if a guy says he's not trying to be a rapper, they're more unique than the ones that are trying to be rappers. Anyways, his friends are cautious about Ariella because Binion has had another wife who was from the United States and she got mad with him and took their son to the United States and he hasn't seen his son since. So they're very apprehensive about whether things will work out with Ariella or not. Of course, this is from their perspective. His wife may tell a different story. We don't know why the wife left him. We would have to know from her perspective why she left. So I'm not even going to comment really on it because it's not good to comment on something when you don't have both sides of the story. And now I'm wondering if axe throwing places are like sponsoring some of the TLC content, because now we see another axe throwing place where Tim goes with his friends. He tells them that he cheated on Melissa and they're way more mad at him for cheating on Melissa, and it seems like maybe they like her better than they like him, or they're just really good friends that will tell you the truth to your face, because I think that's the best sign of friendship is if your friends are able to be honest with you, and when you're messing up they tell you to your face, hey, you're messing up. That's real friendship. That's not just having hangers on and yes men. So shout out to them for that. Deavan arrives in South Korea with her mother, and now I see why Ji-hoon was scared, because her mother is uncouth as all get out. But at least her mother did, if I'm recalling correctly, I think she did bow, and she did give them a very warm hug when she greeted them. It seemed like a genuine warm hug. She seemed to be kind of flipping out in the car, and I think it was more that she was transferring her emotions. And what I mean by that is she wasn't worried about how Ji-hoon's mother was driving. She wasn't worried about the streets. I think that she was very stressed out from traveling for the first time in her life outside of the country. And I think that she felt uncomfortable inside at being in a new place and out of her element. And she had a lot of anxiety, and she seems like the type of person that channels their anxiety into anger or snapping at people. I feel like she was channeling her anxiety about traveling into bitching about the car ride. It's kind of like, you ever been around a person who has an attitude when they're hungry? They're not mad at you, but they just have an attitude because they're hungry and they haven't learned how to compartmentalize their emotions. It's like that. It's transferring. She's transferring what she's really angry about onto something else. Oh, and she probably had anxiety about, what's the apartment going to look like? There's just a lot of things to be anxious about. But the way she channels her anxiety is not helpful at all. And it's a bad look. Then I wonder, does she have like maybe racism about Asian drivers? And maybe she was overreacting because of that. It's a thought. Anyways, don't be racist, kids, because if you're racist, then you get all kinds of anxiety and irrational fears about people who are different from you. And the next thing you know, you're standing on your lawn with guns that you don't even know how to use because some people, and some of them being brown, walked by your mansion. So anyways, that's all I have to talk about this week's 90 Day Fiance. What episode was this? I think it was 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, episode 4. If I'm incorrect, I'll put the right title down here or something. And I'm going to go and record the next one after this. Bye.